Hi, welcome to Running Horsemanship. Today we're doing a quick recap of this first week of work with our recently ride filly, Melen, the one you saw in the video a few days ago. As I mentioned, she has barely been handled, has never been groomed, and only has very limited experience with the lead rope. So I quickly discovered the different issues I was going to have to work on during the week, starting with catching her in the field. That alone turned out to be quite an adventure. On Monday, during the very first training session, it took me nearly 18 minutes from the moment I walked into the paddock until I finally managed to catch her. It's a problem that should be easy to fix in theory, but it's clearly another symptom of her anxiety around humans. After chasing her around for a while, I finally caught her, and that's when the second problem appeared. She pulls back on the lead rope. You might say it makes sense, and it does. It's all connected. She's afraid of humans, so she's afraid of anything related to us. That is a second issue I need to address. But in the end, everything stems from the same root problem. I just need to build that bond of trust between her and me, so she understands that humans aren't here to hurt her. Once that trust grows, these different symptoms should gradually fade and hopefully disappear completely. That's what I'll be working on anyway. Easy. Done? The footage looks a bit spectacular, but don't worry, no one got hurt. I was eventually able to do some groundwork with her that day. I also softened her up a bit by offering her a small treat, but even then, you can see she gets scared as soon as I raised my hand. She's always wondering what's going to happen next. So the first sessions were almost entirely dedicated to desensitization. Desensitizing her to the flag, to the lead rope, to my hand so I could touch her around the muzzle, the ears, the legs, pretty much everywhere. And desensitizing to the brush too. In a nutshell, it was a big desensitization week. I skipped day 2 in the second session. In short, I stuck to exactly the same program. If you've been following me, you already know the basics on the ground. Backing up, lunging, and desensitizing. Nothing new here. The day before, it had taken me about 7 minutes to catch her. So I decided to tackle that problem once and for all at the start of this session. The idea is simple. I make the situation as comfortable as possible when she's near me. The moment she moves away, I apply pressure. I make her move. I make her trot. I make her gallop. And most importantly, I make her go in the direction I choose. After about 5 minutes, she got tired of the game, let herself be caught, and we could get back to work. Another big desensitizing session, by the way. Things are improving. She trusts me more and has fewer sudden movements. I also took the time to enjoy some calm, relaxed moments with her, just stroking her without doing anything in particular. I want her to understand that the relationship I'm offering isn't just work, it's also well-being, peace, and quiet. During this session, I also started working on her feet, because we'll need to trim her hooves sooner or later. I want her to get used to having her legs handled right from the start. The second problem I needed to fix was her pulling back. The exercise is straightforward. Now that she knows how to back up on the lead rope, I ask her to take 1 or 2 steps back, then I suddenly pull on the rope. This creates tension, and she has to find a solution to release it. The only correct answer, in my view, is to step forward, toward me. Pretty soon, she learns that any tension on the lead rope or halter should result in her stepping forward to release the pressure and avoid discomfort. We finished the session with some grooming. You can still see she has some dabs when I brush her. But she's starting to get used to it. I'm trying to make these moments as pleasant as possible for her. And to finish on a positive note, I gave her another little treat, also feeding her some extra minerals and vitamins, and ended the session on a good, relaxed moment. Fourth and final session of the week. Time to get serious. The trust is now well established between Melen and me, so we can start working in a more normal way. I had the pleasure of having my niece and daughter with me during this session. Took care of my 2 other horses while I began the actual starting process with Melen. After a short desensitization session, which has now become part of our daily routine, I desensitize her with the lead rope around the front legs, hind legs, back, and belly. I use the lead rope to prepare her for the feeling of the girth, especially the tightening. Once I felt she was ready, it was time to bring out the saddle pad, the saddle, and get to work. As usual, I gave her time to get to know the equipment. I don't want to put any pressure on her. I want her to feel comfortable with all these new items. Then we went back to desensitizing, this time with the saddle pad. It went much faster now that she knows I won't hurt her. It's just a new sensation, a new feeling, and a new object. But she quickly trusted me and let me place the pad on her back. If all goes well, it should be the same with the saddle. I left all this footage uncut, without any editing, so you can see in real time what this kind of work actually looks like. Her reaction doesn't surprise me. That said, it's interesting to see that there's no aggression or attempt to get rid of me during this first saddling. She is simply telling me that the feeling is new and rather unpleasant, and she needs time to get used to it. All in all, it only took 1 minute between the moment I tightened the girth and the moment she calmed down and we got back to work. Mission accomplished for this first week with Melen. The real starting process starts today. I leave you with these clips. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care and see you next time.